Afternoon, everyone. I'm Charles Devlin D'Costa. I head the national operations for Gati-KWE, and it's a real pleasure to be with you all today. Um, of course, there's been quite a number of different aspects of the business that we thrive on, which was being spoken about today. But I think I come to you with something very different, something that probably will bring up a lot of thought and conjure up a lot of thinking about what is it that we need to do next, not just as supply chain professionals, but also as thinkers for the future, right? Okay, so I'll start with a little bit of a background. Of course, over what we've seen as the entire pandemic that we've been dealing with, um, uh, there has been quite a fluctuation. And as we've seen the Indian economy contract by almost 7.5% in the financial year 21 itself, we've seen that it is the logistics companies that are actually looking at playing Man Friday. So if the logistic companies were to reconfigure and redo everything that we need to do at every twist and bend of the COVID pandemic, there definitely needs to be some respite in terms of what is it that we can benefit from going forward. And while we do this, while there's a constant endeavor of making sure that we are keenly eyed in terms of our balance sheets, it's also very important for us to understand and look at what is it that we can get back from the entire situation while we do what we do best. So apart from the gloom that we've been dealing with, there's also a big doom that we've seen. And that doom primarily came when we look at figures that are very encouraging at the express industry and the way it's been behaving. So not just the 15% of what we've been able to do over the last 5 years, but also looking at what is it that we can bring as a growth aspect in the next 5 years going forward, and what kind of direction do we have. Of course, the emergence of e-commerce has been super high, but as SMEs also realign to the business needs and consumption behaviors, I think B2B businesses are also shaping up for the next league of B2C as more and more businesses are starting to align towards the new norm and towards facilitating direct to customer deliveries. So the shift in consumption pattern that we've actually seen, apart from the finished goods that logistic companies and express distribution companies would carry, is that there is also a lot of upstream. However, the need has always been the movement of essential commodities. While a major chunk of movements through the pandemic has been essential commodities, the highest spends have been on healthcare and personal care, and incidentally on technology as well, as more and more people start buying data packs and investing on re-educating or upgrading themselves. Now, looking this as a sheer opportunity, when the second wave hit us, we've realized that there are lesser spends on savings, and probably each and every household in India is now confronted with something which could be obscure, something that we really don't have a control on. So, what is it that we're going to do as logisticians? What is it that we continue need to do if we have to keep reshaping the way we work? And while there are opportunities in the new way of doing things, it's very clearly evident that there is something we definitely need to do for our people. As jobs are lost, as savings are shrinking, what is the new league ahead? And probably one big silver lining for us is to ensure that we do something different where we build entrepreneurial abilities of people readily available. In Gati KWE, we do have several designs of being able to build entrepreneurs across different opportunities that exist within our ecosystem. To look at very frankly, we have a franchisee model. We have currently more than 300 franchisees dotted across the country and more than 1,800 business partners working with us. Now, this means there is a clear opportunity for people to get out of whatever they're doing and bring back to the organization, bring back to the country, as well as bring back a lot of rescue to the situation that we're dealing with every day and of our lives. Franchisees allow us to enhance reach, whereas transportation partners, which is a complete breakdown in terms of a low barrier entrant, where you could even give us trucks for short haul as well as long haul, becomes a very clear opportunity. With reach, with presence, with the scale that we plan to design, also comes the need to bring in additional people who would handle this with the skills that are required. Training opportunities, manpower opportunities, and even startup digital solutions is something that we are very keen to promote and enhance to ensure that there's plenty of entrepreneurial potential within the logistics sectors itself. And of course, given to understand that we have a huge talent of intellect available with us within supply chain and logistics. We are also keen at looking at how we can support gig workers to bring in fresh ideas and develop new systems and supply chains for our customers. Having said that, we have a system of franchisees. However, the new emerging opportunities that exist within our system are hyperlocal, express distributions and solutions, where we just don't look at people who would come in on board and serve us and be a part of the entire Gati family with making sure that they have vehicles and they have resources to for last mile and first mile, but also packaging solutions and the different levels of innovation that we can probably deliver to our customers. Air freight is definitely something that clearly has plenty of opportunity as the supply chain starts re-engineering itself to accommodate more and more packaging solutions for our customers. Take a look at vaccine distributions, for example, or anything that may be required to ensure that there are compliances that are adhered to and there's a product that is ready to fly. E-commerce has been definitely a huge area of focus for us. And as we look at e-commerce, we are also looking at what exactly is it that our customers need to partner with them for. And in e-commerce itself, we are open for solutions and we are innovating in this particular space. Freight aggregators and speed trucking are again the next league of opportunities for entrepreneurs to join hands with us and take that journey forward. If I were to look at why is it that we need to do this, what is it that what's in it for them? What exactly is it that we're talking about? Then very clearly, there are clear tangible benefits that can be accrued for it. We're talking very low barrier. We are talking people who can come to us even with a two-wheelers or even a four-wheeler and start shaping out what they could for what the industry needs. Now, you also benefit from a high amount of training and a high amount of knowledge, skills, and reach, which is already present within a brand that is well respected. Having said that, what more could you ask for if the benefits could be when you can operate from the location, which is your base location itself? You don't need to travel to an expensive city, look out for accommodation, and try and be employed there. You can work out of your own location itself. Very possibly, also you could establish market leadership because that is your area of expertise. That is the geography that you're very well versed with. I think it's important that the confidence come in by making sure that you have your own business that you're running. More importantly, I feel you are creating and improving a lot more within your community, within your village, within your town. That itself that itself places you into a different podium itself. Now, we've spoken about what is it that Gati does? What is it that we could look at doing? How is it that we can build collaboration within the Gati network? How is it that we can build entrepreneurs through a level of franchisees, through a level of suppliers? And this is a very keen thought that is there, that while Gati does this, what is it that we can actually do when we start collaborating across geographies, when we start collaborating across organizations, when there is probably the best that a customer needs, and he wouldn't compromise, but ask for the best with a combination of different players. And that is exactly where collaboration becomes very key for the entire supply chain network to start thinking, what is it that we need to do very different? How do we actually reach out to each other's strengths? And what is it that we need to particularly look at while solving a customer's problem? So customers need seamless experiences, right? We need to ensure that data flows between organizations seamlessly. We also probably will benefit when we start reducing a whole load of duplication. And more importantly, when we talk about collaboration across geographies, and we also look at how the government's thrust in terms of the roadway to digitalization can be supported. Having said that, I'll move very quickly to some of the interventions through the digital world that is already happening. While geotagging, auto capture, big data are already benefits that we are being able to see, tech-enabled forecasting and being able to manage demand and supply shocks is something that we're probably going to look at. 85% of the global supply chain leaders expect that there's going to be massive transformation through digitalization in the supply chain models. And companies are aggressively digitalizing their supply chain to ensure that there's a growth of over 3.2%, or probably a hit rate of an annual growth of 2.5%. Now, having said that, there are wearable technologies. There are far much more many technologies that are emerging that could be visible to each one of you within your supply chain needs and within your supply chains that you've been able to configure. However, having said that, with the role of digital intervention, with the open-mindedness of how do we open up our supply chain networks to ensure that we start honing entrepreneurship, I will end with a note to actually say, let's start enhancing the socioeconomic fabric of the nation by making sure that we have a positive impact on the economy, bringing fresh employment opportunities, managing the consumption behaviors of our customers, and also upping the standard of living. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Charles, for those entrepreneurial thoughts that you've shared with us during this session. Thank you once again for joining us and for sharing your valuable perspectives around a very interesting and a pertinent theme, which is to do with collaborative supply chain networks. And again, entrepreneurship being the key title over here. So thank you once again, Mr. Charles. With that, ladies and gentlemen, as we are already filled up with the entrepreneurial spirit, let's take that forward, in fact, to understand the digital procurement transformation featuring another entrepreneur himself. We have with us Akshay Hegde, who's a co-founder and managing director of shakedeal.com. In fact, shakedeal.com is one of India's largest procurement-focused B2B e-commerce platform, and it will be very, very insightful to have Akshay's enterprising thoughts shared with us in the form of our next session. So I hope all of you are looking forward to it. If so, stay with us. We'll get the next session started in just a couple of seconds.